let's get to it. So apparently Joe Biden is really old. So old. That is what we've been hearing. The headline should have been that Joe Biden is the first person in American history to not get indicted by a special counsel after a special counsel was assigned and investigated and did their report. He
That should
is
have
the
been the
That
should
should
have
have been
been
the thing. Like, yeah, it's great that no charges were coming, but he's the first person to ever not get charged by a special counsel. So instead, what did the media do? They decided to take 7 words out of the report that said a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, and then of course MAGA ran with it, and then of course the lefty fringe degenerates ran with it, of course proving the horseshoe theory once again. But in the report on page 211, even the special counsel, like, he says something in there that, oh, in 2017 Joe Biden didn't remember some notes he took, or some documents that he took, and in 2024 he still didn't remember. I would imagine that's consistency versus not remembering. So
right.
it's just really, really, really weird that he, and not only that he would put that information in there, but the reason he put it in there was because he was putting himself in the mindset of the jury if they did decide to move
Right, which
forward
was weird.
with with charges. So that alone was just like, wait a minute, why is the special counsel putting himself in the shoes of of the jury? That makes no sense. I don't know. What did you think, Tiff?
I thought it was absolutely absurd. So when that all came out, I was on we I jumped on TikTok because I was like, oh my God, I am going to go off on this. Like, I tell you, to make TikToks, you got to get me pissed off. So once I'm pissed off, I'll go and make a TikTok, because otherwise I don't think about this app at all. But
Yeah.
I was livid as I was seeing this come through on the TV. I'm like, and I usually in the evening I'll have MSNBC on, but I was starting. I don't know what I was doing that. Oh, I think I had come home from work, and I was just like, what is going on? And then I started watching, TV, and just kind of getting everything together. And then next thing you know, I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? And I couldn't believe what I was hearing, for one, that these people were talking about his son. That, I think that's what really pissed me off more than anything, that they were saying he doesn't remember when his son died. And I thought to myself, I don't remember when people in my family died, what year it was, what date it was. Like, I tried, a lot of us who have lost people, we repress that information. If you like, you remember certain things, but you don't necessarily remember the year. Or, like, I remember my cousin died in 2000, because obviously it was the year 2000. But I
Hmm.
couldn't tell you, like, when my great grandmother died or anything like that. Like, it's something that you just can't, especially when you're under pressure and someone's asking you a bunch of questions and there's like so many things going through your head. No one is gonna, like, just automatically be like, yeah. And the question is, why are you even asking me this question when we're talking about documents? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
And,
I
and
know.
here's the part that I have a problem with in the report. So before that, he quotes Joe Biden talking about, oh, if it was 2013, when did I stop being vice president? But then after he mentions that part in page 212, he starts a new sentence where he says he did not remember even within several years when his son Bo died, but he doesn't attribute any quote to it. That's just his own assessment
Right,
of
that's
what
his own
happened.
assessment of what he said, which
But
makes no sense.
there's no quote like that we can attribute to it. I'm like, why did you not quote exactly what he said? Like, what was the question? What did he say? Like, can we get that part of the information?
Right.
But regardless, like, the President Joe Biden sat down with the special counsel on October 9th and October 10th, was it? And what had just happened on October 7th?
Right.
Like, everything went down between Hamas and Israel. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there
So
were there were unfolding events happening where he had to be debriefed and briefed and everything. So it's just really weird that not only that the media ran with this, but also that Her would go out of his way to mention this stuff. I mean, what I also thought was interesting is the way he contrasted and compared Trump's issues
right.
to this investigation. I also thought that was telling, but the media really didn't report on that that much. They didn't hold on to that.
Of course they
So
didn't. They went to the parts that were salacious as usual and decided, okay, well, this is the parts we're going to focus on. And it turned into a big thing because they lack integrity, in my opinion. The point of the report was to say that, there was a report the night before that said that this was going to come out, right? We knew it was coming, and we kind of were preparing ourselves for it, but we knew there weren't going to be any charges. What we weren't prepared for was what was in the report, right? Because no one knew what was going to be in there. And I think people, they're blaming, Merrick Garland and saying, well, he should have edited it. No, he should not have edited it, because guess what? You edit something out of that report, and now you're going to be sitting in front of Congress having to explain why you
edited it.
And now it turns into a whole nother thing. And guess who will be the next person on the chopping block for impeachment? It would be Merrick Garland.
Right. And then now we have two issues. Now it's going to be two issues.
Now you have two issues instead of one. And it's not like the White House didn't read this report ahead of time. They read the report.
Yeah.
They knew what was in it. They didn't expect for the media to do the things that they did. And maybe that's their fault for underestimating how ridiculous our media is at this point. But they are. They love drama. They love all of that nonsense that gives like the red meat, like you said, to Trump's base, to say he's old, to people, for people to doubt him and say he's now he has dementia and he's senile. Like these are terms that people should not be using in talking about people, which are medical terms. You should not be saying that Joe Biden has dementia. That is a serious disease. And I promise you, a person that has dementia will not be getting on a plane on at 6:00 at night, going to Israel, having a meeting with the war cabinet in Israel, sitting there, then having to meet with all the families in Israel, doing a press conference, getting back on the plane, talking to Sisi of Egypt, and then finally making it back home 36 hours later. Okay, I can promise you that somebody with dementia would not be able to do that. So I am really tired of people using that narrative. They did it to Dianne Feinstein. They did it with so many people. I don't care if they flew. I'm not talking about flying. I'm talking about holding meetings. Hello, this is not the same. You are comparing and contrasting things that are not the same. This is a serious thing. People actually have family members who have dementia, and it is.
I don't know that it's a wise choice for the Biden detractors to start using age as as a political tool in an election year when the most reliable voter bloc are older people.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me. So, I mean, you're probably going to see some backlash from the older folks that are going to come out and be like, okay, no, we're going to go ahead and vote for Biden. Not saying that it's going to change the election, but I don't think that's a good way to go ahead and draw contrast with Biden if you're a MAGA Republican. It doesn't make any sense.
65 and over is the biggest voting bloc, and they vote consistently. I don't think you want to piss them off by calling Joe Biden senile when he can clearly see, because he sure enough saw Peter Doocy and his stupid ass in that press conference and told him off. So let's not act like this is some kind of thing. And then they act like Trump doesn't say stupid things. Like we've seen him all weekend, and I'm glad the Biden administration is calling out all of the things that he is saying. There are people that make mistakes all the time. You and I make mistakes all the time on this live.
Oh, absolutely.
And say things that we probably, didn't mean to say. And that's a normal thing, because not everybody can remember every single thing. We mix up names, we mix up dates, we mix up all kinds of stuff. I'm just really tired of the whole narrative around it. And I pulled up my video from September where I'm like, Joe Biden is old. We know Joe Biden is old. Yep. I voted for Joe Biden in 2020 and he was old. Hello, I did not vote for a young person. I voted for his experience. That's what I voted for. And with age comes experience. And I appreciate the fact that he is an experienced person who knows how to do the job. Unlike the other former guy who does not know what the hell he's doing and is crazy as all hell and got, I don't know how many people harmed with COVID. So I don't know.
And you know what? And let's just they're not being held to the same standard
at
either.
all.
So there is such a high bar for Biden and such a low one for Trump, because Trump has done the things that Joe Biden is being accused of. He couldn't remember when Donald Trump gave testimony. He couldn't remember what years he was president. He gave
He didn't.
testimony. He gave testimony that he was overseeing the problems with China and blah 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 in 2021. And the lawyer had to remind him, but you weren't president then. And he's like, oh right, because one, he's saying he doesn't remember. He's saying that someone who isn't his ex-wife is his ex-wife in the picture, and
Exactly.
and then on top of saying that
Who's see now?
that it's not his type. So clearly, like, two lies right there. Like,
Yeah,
so
there's a lot.
I don't
There's
understand.
so many lies. There's so much deception. There's so much foolishness that I don't understand why the media refuses to call Trump out on the things that he does at this point. I am so tired of how this media has, Trump says that Trump has basically normalized stupidity, in my opinion, because he used to call the media the enemy of the people. So they feel like they have to cover him fairly. Like they have to do this both sides bullshit, and it's not necessary. Call a thing, call a fact a fact. If there's a fact to be said, then call it what it is. We don't need your editorializing. We don't need all of this nonsense that you are spewing to make points about, your opinion. I don't care what your opinion is. I could care less what your opinion is of Joe Biden. What I care about is the facts of how policy is being created, how it's being passed. Did you hear them talk anything on the news? If you watched the news in the past 5 days, you would not have known that the Senate was working on the bill that they're working on. Why?
Yep.
Because they've been focusing on other things. Meanwhile, you got dummies on Twitter talking about they were doing it in the secret, and that it was in secret that they were doing this bill. No, C-SPAN has it on.
Exactly. It's on C-SPAN. You can access it on cable. You can access it on your laptop, on your phone. Like, it's not. It's all there. But to your point, why would Joe Biden sit there? Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, Bobby mentioned this in the comments. If he was senile, or if he was experiencing Alzheimer's, um, why would you have a president sit down with a special counsel if they're not with their mental faculties, and create the possibility of incriminating yourself in something? Because if someone is not having the kind of memory that, a faulty memory, they might slip and say something that they're not supposed to say. They might incriminate themselves in something. So, sorry, the dogs are going to go crazy now.
Okay.
So if he was, in fact, having that kind of poor memory, that's a sword that cuts both ways, because he could have incriminated himself in something that he may not have meant to. So it's a little nuts that that's what the media ran with. And then if he was senile, if he was this or if he was that, like, how is your record so good? How how have you
I mean, I
cleaned up
have
the Trump years?
It's not even that. It's just that, like, people do. I understand that people do not pay attention. I get that, right? But you can literally watch Biden every single day give a press conference. He gave a press conference today. He does events where he is going. He doesn't necessarily take questions, because those people do not deserve questions. Let's be real. They do
Right.
not deserve to be asking him questions. You saw how they look like a freaking pack of hyenas asking questions, like a whole bunch of freaking beasts trying to get in. And then when they ask questions, they ask the stupidest questions. So no, he's not gifting them with questions. But to say Biden is not talking, or he's not out there. I've seen Biden in person. He was fired up when I saw him in person. I have seen him in multiple events over the last 7 days where he was fired. He was at that day when that came out. He was literally at the DCC, the DCCC convention, or whatever it was that they were having, and he was speaking there. So how can you sit here and tell me that he doesn't know what he's talking about or has dementia, when the man literally was giving the speech right then and there, like an hour before this came out? Like, the whole thing just doesn't make sense. I'm not going to sit here and change people's minds about does Biden have dementia or does Biden not have dementia? Biden speaks perfectly fine for himself, and he told you he doesn't have dementia, and you saw him on the screen. So if you don't want to believe that, well, that's on you because you just are stupid at this point. If you can't even see that, like it's exhausting to have to keep saying it. I am just tired of people being stupid. I can't take it anymore. Like it's exhausting to watch the stupidity of people on this goddamn app. And not even so much on here, but on Twitter especially. Hey Virgo. Yeah, it is absolutely absurd. And I just find it so annoying to have to listen to people lie constantly and they know they're lying, but it makes them feel good to lie. Go
And
go have sex, please. Do something with yourself instead.
hey, Amy, I see you. I see you down there. The other thing is that I remember there was an article, and that one was annoying because, and you might remember when it was written. I was just trying to find it, but I can't find it right now, so I'll have to look for it later. There was an article written a few months ago where it was basically trashing Biden because he would yell at his staff or he would get angry for not being prepared.
Yeah.
So how if how is it that he's one has a poor failing memory, and then two, he's yelling at people for not being prepared because he's so on top of it that he's cutting holes in whatever bullshit they're presenting him, where he's calling them out. Like
Yeah.
how are you that sharp one month and then that dull another? It doesn't make any
Um,
sense.
I was listening to Chris Coons yesterday. He did an interview. I think he was on one of the Sunday shows, and he said when they came back from Israel, they went to the White House. It was 7:30 at night. They were sitting there, and they said they thought the meeting was going to be like 30 minutes. It ended up being 2.5 hours of Joe Biden asking them multiple questions, trying to understand stuff. Like you said, his staff says they have to come prepared because Joe
Yeah.
Biden actually reads his briefings and he
Right.
knows what's going on. So you have people that are like, oh my God, if I don't come, he's gonna ask me questions and I'm not gonna know and I'm gonna embarrass myself. That's not the signs of someone who is in decline. So it is just absurd to hear people say the things that they say because they are so ageist. Let's be real. Let's use the word ageist. It is bigotry to
And then
judge
and then
people who
compare
are
it
old.
compare it to what people who worked for Donald Trump's administration have said about Donald Trump. They have said that he doesn't read his briefings, and if you don't keep it short and just put pictures and a chart, he won't pay attention to it. Like really important details about our economy, about like our national security has to be in charts. It has to be in like in picture format. How are people not concerned about that? How are people just focusing on
I
these
don't even know,
seven
Jose.
words?
At this point, it is so frustrating to just listen to how crazy these people are and what they're saying that we literally saw Trump write with a Sharpie for that hurricane. Remember, he had the Sharpie and he drew like a circle on it. Like this is the kind of stupidity that we have been exposed to with Trump. Yes, he is definitely like a kindergartner, and it's exhausting to have to watch people basically I can't even say the words, suck him off all the time
Yeah.
because they can't accept that their guy is a loser. He lost the election. I'm sorry to tell you people, he lost the election and he sucks and he's gonna lose again, and I'm gonna laugh every single day because he is done after 2024. Like I never want to say
No,
that,
don't say that. I can't
and
have him be
hopefully
done after
he's in
2024.
jail. Hopefully he's in freaking jail.
I need him to be the nominee in
Oh no,
2028
he's gonna be the
again.
nominee, but I
Okay.
said I said after 2024, not in
Okay.
2024. Okay, after 2024, November 5th, November whatever day they finish counting votes, I never want to see his ugly face again. And I'm
Oh no,
so
that's what I'm saying. I want him to be back in 2028. I want him to
oh my
run
God,
again in
you
20.
he's not gonna be around it that long. Come on, let's
And
be serious.
and and I'm glad you brought up the topic of losing because yesterday apparently Joe Biden won the Super Bowl and so did Taylor Swift.
Sure did. Sure did.
Incredible. I still can't believe that the MAGA folks were out there really creating this narrative that the Democrats somehow masterminded with Taylor Swift's boyfriend and the NFL to make sure
It's a
that
whole
they,
conspiracy theory.
like
That guy that wrote that was so funny, and I laughed. He said it's Dem propaganda, and Joe Biden is basically working with Taylor Swift so she can come out at halftime, and she will endorse him at halftime on the field. Like they had this whole conspiracy.
Yep.
I'm like, what in the world are y'all talking about? First it was that the Ravens like there's so many NFL conspiracies, right? So you had like the NFL conspiracy that the San Francisco 49ers and the Ravens were going to, they was scripted. They were supposed to play, but that didn't work out. But then we had then the Chiefs won, and then they were like, "Oh no, now it's Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is the person that did this." And it's so silly, so silly. Oh my gosh, she brought Raggedy Ann out with her too. So or little Annie to the game. So is that a conspiracy too? Like I'm so tired of these people and their stupid conspiracies. Like where do y'all not have sex? Do you not like have love in your life that you just make up conspiracy theories constantly? You need a hug, like seriously.
I still like I was not all like caught up on the conspiracy part of it. Like I heard little things here and there, um, but I can't believe they really invested that much. Like how many things are they going to protest for people who don't like safe spaces? They really do run to their corners when a football player gets vaxxed. I think that was the whole that was that not the catalyst for everything? Is because this guy got vaxxed. I don't
Well,
even
they
know his
started
name.
that was early. He did like a commercial where he was saying he was back. So
Hmm.
they didn't already kind of like him. But then he started dating Taylor Swift. So they were like, "Oh my gosh, he's." And of course Taylor Swift, they didn't already like her from the beginning because she had,
Right.
there was the whole thing with Trump, and she didn't like him, and she cares about women's rights. And so
And
these
she
people,
campaigned against what's her name? The
yeah,
Marsha Blackburn.
yeah, the lady with the nest of a head. I don't know
Yeah,
her.
with
Marsha
the weird wig, or
Yeah,
or yeah,
horrible.
it
So
looks like
she,
it
yeah,
looks like her hair looks
the whole
like a Barbie that's
accusator,
been
the home
played really rough
accusator.
with. Yeah.
Yeah. So she, that was they. You're putting all these things together, and you're kind of making this whole thing. These two people, they started dating. First of all, I think the whole thing is kind of annoying because they're like always in our face, but I really don't care. They don't do anything for me. Like people that are celebrities get together all the time, and him and her are together. They obviously care about each other. She's been at all of the games. She was, they're hugging and kissing and loving each other. Great. That is wonderful. But every single thing is a conspiracy. They hated the Little Mermaid, they hated
Oh
Barbie,
God.
they hate
Yeah.
everything. Like I said, do you guys have
Books. They hate
any,
books.
you hate books, you hate drag queens, do you have any joy in your life? Because it seems like there's no joy.
Bathrooms. They hate
They hate
bathrooms.
everything. Like it is so tiring. Like, do you like anything? You don't like Nike. You don't, like what do you like? I would love to know what they like.
Oh my God, Nike. Yeah, I think they had a thing against New Balance at one point, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
It's like every single
what
thing
else
they
is
have a
left?
problem with. I don't under. There's nothing left. There's not. They
Oh, they
hate.
hate beer. Oh my God, I forgot about all
They
the things.
hated the NFL for like a whole like couple years, and
Bud
now they're
Light,
like
right?
now they're watching the NFL. Like which one is it? I'm
Target. Oh my God. Thank you
Target.
guys in the
Yes,
everyone's reminding me of all the things that they hated.
they hate Target,
They
beer, you name it. Like I said, there's no more joy left in that bunch. They just hate life. They hate everything that's happening. They only love Trump. Trump is their I have
Oh, M&M's. I forgot Tucker Carlson
M&M's
with
too.
the
Keurig, I can't.
yes.
Mickey, yes. Well, we know
Starbucks.
Starbucks, yes. Christmas is we've killed Christmas. Like there's so much madness that I no longer can keep up with. I don't even. There's not even a list because there's so much foolishness that they have decided that they don't like.
The musical
It,
Hamilton.
yes, everything. This everything
God.
except for their golden calf, which is Trump, who is evil as can be. That's who they love. He can do no wrong in their eyes. Bless them.
And I don't get it. Oh, do we know when our guest is coming on? Was it 6?
I told them to come around 9. Well, yeah, 9ish.
I
So
mean, sorry, I'm on, by the way, I'm on the West Coast. Tiff is on the East Coast. So obviously 3
yeah, I
hours
told him to
difference.
come around
So it's
9. So he'll see him
okay.
when he comes on.
All right, awesome. Joe Biden is a genius. Joe Biden is an artist. I'm just reading the comments right now. All right. So, what are we thinking about the what's happening in the Supreme Court? Because I know he filed that. Was it an emergency stay?
Yes, he filed. Well, he filed the stay, and I didn't read it, but I heard it was a hot ass mess. What his lawyers wrote in this filing.
I
They
heard that
said,
too. I didn't. I mean, because it just
oh,
happened. So, and I was working, but I heard that it started with like a Yogi Berra quote.
I, from what I was told, and I saw a couple of people, what's his name, Mariotti, one of those lawyers. I saw Mark Elias saying, "Gosh, this is one of the worst, one of the worst like things I've ever read in my life. It is so amateur. Like they were just throwing all kinds of stuff in there to try to make it make sense." So I don't know. There's so much craziness, but it doesn't surprise me that these people. I mean, he has like the worst lawyers. He really does.
I guess the question is like, what are they trying to accomplish here? But because let's say the Supreme Court grants him the stay, let's say they hear it and they're like, okay, you know what? You get you get immunity from being prosecuted for criminal behavior. Do they not know that Joe Biden is the president and basically you're
Right.
giving him free reign to stay in office? It's
Pretty
like,
much. So
okay,
yeah, so basically Joe Biden could go lock up Donald Trump if you want to talk about immunity. He could do a
exactly.
lot of things to Donald Trump, but that's not what they really want. I mean, they want Trump. Trump wants the Supreme Court to do something it's not going to do. I don't even think the Supreme Court is going to even take this on. I mean, it would be pretty asinine. Just listening to what they were talking about in the court case the other day when they were doing this SCOTUS hearing on the Colorado case. I just don't see how they even spend their time on this. This is just stupid. And the appeals ruling that came down was pretty good. They went into detail. They took their time to do it. And I'm hoping that we can just move on to this trial. Because honestly, what is even the point of SCOTUS taking this other than to be political and try to sway things towards his way to delay this trial? And that's all he's looking for. He's looking to delay the trial at the end of the day.
And then we're still waiting on the decision from the Supreme Court to come in for whether or not he will be removed from the ballot. I was always very skeptical of that case. And I think you know that I was always like,
Yeah,
I
you
think in our,
you always you I mean we went back and forth on that. I mean, I think
yeah,
I think for me it was you had skepticism on the officers kind of thing, kind of with
yeah,
the
and that's what Kentaji, that's what KG said.
right,
That
right.
was
So
one of
I
her
mean, it was
questions.
a valid. The questions that they were the questions that they were asking were valid, and I thought that KBJ and even Sonia Sotomayor were both really good at having those conversations to kind of get to the point of what were they trying to accomplish here. And I don't think the lawyer for Colorado did a great job of like kind of explaining. He tried his best, and he just wasn't prepared for all the questions that they were
Yeah, when I
that they were
heard,
bringing to him.
because I was listening to that live, and I'm like, a lot of this legalese is going over my head, but just seeing the way one is talking, the way Trump's lawyer was talking versus the Colorado's lawyer, I was like, I don't want to say this, but Trump's lawyer sounds like way sharper. Like he's on his shit. This is probably like the best lawyer I've ever heard from that side. Oh, Isaiah is on here. Hold on, let me bring on our special guest who is in the trenches at New York's third district, trying to help flip that seat. Hello, Isaiah. How are you?
What's going on, y'all? What's up, Jose?
Nothing.
What's up, Tiff? It's good to see y'all.
Good to
Better to
see
see you.
Yeah, man, I'm so fired up. I'm in the city, just got here, we're ready to flip this seat. It's going to be such a big day coming up. It's wild because apparently it's about to be 6 inches of snow.
I
And
know. Look at you coming from Texas to get some snow.
you know,
Wow,
where I come from, we don't get snow.
that's
And
funny.
if we
Whenever I've
do,
gone to New York, I get 6 inches, but it's not snow.
it's been here. Yeah. Well, I'm just excited, man, because it's a really good opportunity. And, I think that, the pundits, what you're going to see tomorrow A lot of them are going to be saying if Swazi wins by a lot, they're going to say this means nothing
Of
for
course,
November. You
they're
know,
already
of
trying
course.
it. They're already trying it.
Wow.
You saw Nate Cohn, right?
He's already trying it. So I guess my question to you is, I mean, I'm home, like I'm in Maryland. I haven't been to New York, but of course my mom, she's there and she's seeing all the crazy commercials. I mean, they've spent a ton of money
Hmm.
on commercials to talk about immigration, but you've actually been on the ground and actually speaking
Yeah.
to people. So what is your sense from the people on the ground and talking to them?
Well, it's definitely true that immigration is a big thing that they're talking about. It's not just Republicans, it is Democrats that are talking about it. I've been going door to door, I've been going to different events, and it's definitely something that people are talking about. But I think one of the most interesting things is the way that Republicans blocked this last proposal. I think that a lot of them were extremely upset that Republicans blocked it and that they can see that they're just playing politics, that they only want this as a political issue to run on year after year after year. And so I think Swazi's put forward a good approach, which is, look, I want to try to work to solve this. I support the Dignity Act. I support all of these different bipartisan measures. But, if Republicans want to just keep on blocking things because they want to, because they want to grandstand, then that's not what we need.
Right.
And, I think overall in the district, I think that's been the general sentiment. They want somebody who can be collaborative, but then also stand on business when they need to. And that's what Swazi's been doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, my aunt is in that district. My uncle is in that district. So they've gone out to vote. They know what the assignment is. Go vote for Swazi. But even when I was there for Christmas, one of my uncle's friends, that they're a couple, and they were talking to me about the Swazi race. So people have known about this race for quite some time, and they knew it was coming up. And they are concerned. Obviously, will he win? I have my prediction of what's going to happen tomorrow. I won't tell anybody on here because I do not want to jinx the whole situation, but I think I know what's going to happen tomorrow. I think you know what's going to happen tomorrow. And we're just going to watch it play out because the media underestimates the power of Roe and the fact that it is now taken away. And there are lots of women voters who
Not
are,
our VP. Our VP didn't.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, they don't understand the power of women, and they don't understand what kind of ways that we can rally people. And that Mozzie lady with her debate performance was a joke.
Oh my
She's
God.
terrible.
Is
It's
it
bad.
Mozzie or Maisie? Is it Mozzie?
I think it's Mozzie.
Mozzie.
Well, from what I've been seeing, I understand she doesn't do a lot of like press conferences. They basically hide her, and she just kind of campaigns. And basically, what she's running on is that she's going to be a solid Republican vote, but she's not really ready for prime time.
No, I mean, what's interesting is I was in a pizza shop last week, and people just keep on saying, "Where's Mazzy? Like, where's Mazzy?" And
Right.
what's really interesting is, I come from a safe blue district, right? So for me, we rail on Republicans all the time. But what's interesting up here is a lot of people are not like one way or the other, and they really do take a lot of time to determine who's going to be, they feel, the best person to represent them. And they feel offended that Mazzy won't go anywhere, that she
Right.
never is anywhere, she never campaigns, not open in public. And then when they say, I saw a lot of voters that said, well, I want to see this debate. I want to see like how they, talk in this debate. And they see Mazzy, she's reading her answers off of paper. Like she can't even communicate. Like
Well,
she can't communicate at all.
Well, this is what happens when you go into a bowl and you pick out a name and you say we want somebody and we're going to use you, and they hate diversity, but we know that they have a diversity file and they pick the Ethiopian Jewish woman so that they can try to win the Jewish vote and people of color. We already know what this game is, but the thing is, people have had enough of that with George Santos, right? He was the diversity hire for that group. He was all the groups. He was
all the
Jewish,
groups.
he was
He was
gay, and he was
Jewish, right?
Latino, right? So he had all
Yeah.
these different things going. He was also black. Like he had all these things going for him while he was a volleyball player. He was
His
everything.
mom died in 9/11.
Yeah, he had the whole
Seriously,
nine. He had the whole nine
seriously.
yards. But this
You know,
they did the same thing with him. But this lady, I think, is even worse than George Santos. She is actually like if she goes to the Congress, she will be worse than George Santos because she's gonna have to prove herself to all those white people and prove that she can fit in with them. So she's gonna be insane, and she already
well,
is.
you know what's interesting is I think what's also really been helping Swazi. Grace Mang actually came out and
I
she
saw that.
she dubbed him as what it was George Santos 2.0.
Mhm.
And like, you know, when you're going around, you're like, look, we already elected somebody who nobody had ever heard of before.
Hmm.
Don't do it again. Like
Yeah,
it's just that
Grace is
simple.
awesome.
And what's crazy is Mazzy's not even disciplined. But she can't even stay disciplined on her grift because like she's now out here talking about you know, Republicans are seeing her for what she is as a black woman and like all these things like that. And I'm like,
Oh, she tried to flip the
that's the
script.
wrong party, brother.
She tried to flip the
Yes.
script. Oh
It's
wow, wow. She's
crazy.
feeling that racism coming deep. Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
she feels it.
Oh boy.
She
Listen,
sees it coming.
I hope that lady does not win tomorrow. I hope that people turn out. I hope that the weather holds up and it's not as bad as you know on the East Coast when they say it's going to be 6 inches, it could literally be 12 or it could be 3. So you never know what's going to happen. So don't get your hopes up to see 6 inches because it may not be that much. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
It's true.
honestly, it's true.
being
You
being
walk
born
into the
and being
room,
born
you
and
just
raised in New
never know
York,
what you're gonna get.
it's
Okay, you
true
don't know if it's gonna be
that
6
yeah.
or less or 6 or more,
Oh,
but
that's
you're gonna
crazy.
get something. But yeah, I mean, honest, my mom, yeah, I didn't, and people didn't even know. My mom didn't even know it was gonna snow tomorrow. She just found out this morning when I told her. She's like, "Oh crap, it's gonna snow." So I think a lot of people are gonna wake up and be like, "Oh damn!" And so we know that based on what Tom has posted, that there's a lot of people that had already voted early, which is good. Most of those people were Democrats because Democrats
That's for those
actually
Republicans.
the Republicans don't necessarily always vote early, and so we're going to see if that makes a difference tomorrow in terms of turnout. If the snow is going to impact, did people vote early? Did they wait till the day of and now there's going to be a
Hmm.
snowstorm? Is it supposed to clear up by 5 o'clock? So maybe people will be able to get that last minute vote in, but there will still be a lot of snow. I saw Tom Swazi was doing car rides for people to go to the polls, which was cool. I like to see that. So I hope people take advantage of that, especially some folks that are older. You know, the thing is with New York is that people weren't always able to vote early, so a lot of people don't do it. It's not common practice. They only started doing that in 2020, so it is kind of a newer thing. And I hope that people, you know, did actually go out and vote early, and we'll see the difference tomorrow because I can't wait for this race. I just was laughing, like you said, at Nate Cohen. I saw your post and then I saw Nate Cohen and I saw Tom going at him, and I'm like, you know, this race will make a difference. We've seen this before. We saw it in New York 19. Do you guys
Oh
remember
yeah.
New York 19 in August of
Look at Pat Ryan.
2022? Pat Ryan, and people
Hmm.
thought he wasn't going to win, and then he ends up winning, and he shocked all of these pundits because the
Yep.
polls had him down.
Yep. Yep.
It's
And
99 on polls.
that's how it is. That's how it is. And you know what? To all these pundits and all these idiots who think that they can forecast everything, you know, they're about to get a good awakening. And I'm
I
just really excited. I can't wait for
I
them to make more excuses.
I hope so because you know what? If it goes the other way, you know what we're gonna hear. Well, this is what's gonna tell us what we're in store for. This sets the tone for 2024 if Swazi loses, and I do not want to. I do not want to hear
Just
that.
curious, Isaiah, when you were knocking on doors, did you go to any like Republican doors? Were their kind of sentiments? Were they like for Mazi, not for Mazi, kind of unsure?
Well, the Republicans, they were just kind of like, "Oh, I'm not interested. Not, I'm not." Or one lady was like, "I'm not voting for him."
Got it.
And it was just kind of like that. It wasn't really like them just outwardly. Like in Texas, they was like, get, like.
Right. People think New Yorkers are mean. We're not that mean. We're just
Nah,
not used to. We're not really used to people knocking on our doors for stuff. So we're like, I don't
yeah.
know about all that. But I think people. I think what may happen is that people are so turned off from George Santos that they may just like Republicans may be like, I'm not even gonna bother to vote. And
Well, here's the thing. What they found out, and what is why Mazzy is so screwed, is that she's technically a registered Democrat. And so Loomer, that weird right wing lady that
Laura.
Trump, yeah, Laura Loomer, has been like railing against this Mazzy person over and over and over again, saying that she's a registered Democrat. And like during the debate, Mazzy said she was pro life, but then she supported choice, and like she went back and forth. So the MAGATs are just kind of like,
Oh, they
they're
think
not
she's a
really,
fraud. She's a
yeah,
fraud, right?
exactly.
Okay,
This
I
was
got it.
this was at the
So,
debate a few
right.
days ago.
Exactly. And so the thing is that these, how MAGA always wants to talk about the uniparty and all this stuff, right? So they believe that if they go vote for Mazzy, they're voting for the uniparty and all that. It's crazy. But a Republican cannot win without MAGA, and they know that. And so it's kind of screwed.
Well, good luck to her. Good luck to her.
Sucks for her.
Yeah.
Has Trump weighed in on this at all?
No.
No. Actually,
Oh, that's interesting.
no Trump. No Trump. Not at all.
She said she wanted to debate, but at least Stefanik was supposed to be campaigning with her tonight, which is interesting.
Really? Mike Johnson was here when I was here. He was here last week. So we'll see. I think.
Did you go
Huh?
to the event with Hakeem? Were you there for the
Uh-huh.
event with Hakeem? How was it?
Yeah, I was there. It was good. It was good. Hakeem brought it per usual. They had a lot of black voters there. It was really, really fun. He really brought the energy. Like he always does. He is just so good at just connecting with people and really bringing the urgency,
Was it on long?
It was at a church. I don't remember exactly where at, but it was at a church, and SEIU was there, and there was some, I can't remember what his name was. Yeah, but it was a church.
Cool.
Somewhere in the district, I
Okay.
guess.
You're like, I know New York. It's all the same to me. That's wherever it was. I don't know where it was. But it
I'm
was
just shocked. Look, you know what? You know what's crazy is I just found out that New York had freeways.
What?
We have
It never
roads.
dawned on me that y'all had freeways.
Well,
Like,
we don't,
I mean,
we
I
don't
obviously
call them freeways. We just call them the highway. They're
Yeah,
all the
they're
highways.
highways.
highway. That's what you say, highway.
Expressway, but they're
Yeah.
not. We don't call them a free. When I think of freeways, I think of California because that's the
Yeah.
only place that I know, and Dallas too. Dallas has a freeway, but yeah, no, we don't call them that. We just call them highways.
Highways.
Highway? You call them a highway? That sounds like cars, like Route 66 type. Like what? A highway?
A highway.
Yeah, it's a highway.
That's what we call them here too in Maryland. We don't have freeways here.
Wait, is this just
Oh,
a Texas thing? Freeway?
I think
No,
it's
freeways in California too.
Yeah,
They say,
that's
yeah.
definitely.
But even
Well,
here,
in
like
California, they say the 305 or the 40,
Yeah.
the whatever, right? Like,
yep.
We have
Yeah.
we have names for ours, so we have like if you're in Long Island, you'll hear like Cross Island Parkway. So we have parkways too. So Cross Island Parkway, you have the Belt Parkway. You have obviously 95 is like to go from one part of the East Coast to the next part of the East Coast. But we just call our roads like by their names. We have Jackie Robinson, which takes you from Brooklyn to Queens. We have lots of we have Cross Island Park. Like I said, there's a lot of different parkways that we have, and bridges, lots of bridges too.
yeah, I'm not used to this. I'm used to in Houston. We just got 45 freeway. We just say the freeway. I'm going north on the freeway, south on the freeway. Like we don't really say all that other stuff. It's wild.
See?
I got a
Look at
question
you
about.
learning New York. Look at you.
I got one question about about potentially flipping that seat tomorrow. If we end up flipping it, does that make the Mayorkas impeachment null and void?
Yeah, it does. If Swazi, but so it's actually interesting you bring that up because I was reading on the plane that apparently Johnson's trying to bring the impeachment back up tomorrow,
Hmm.
which is crazy because he has to.
Right.
Because if Swazi wins, that impeachment is DOA.
Right,
Like
because
it cannot happen.
that's one more vote that they would have to
Right.
because it would go from what 2-6. Well, depends on who's out, but like 216 to 217.
So right. So what it's looking like is they're going to fly up a cancer-ridden Steve Scalise
Oh my God.
to come and vote so they can try to ram this through. I don't know. I mean, I guess
That's
that's the only.
meaning that, well, that would mean everyone would have to be there. But did you see that Alan Dershowitz, who I can't stand, came out and told Johnson that he needs to stop with the impeachment? Though I thought that was interesting that he's telling them
Yeah.
you don't have there's no high crime and misdemeanor here. You need to fall back on this. Like,
Right.
so I'll be
Right.
curious to see what they do
And do
tomorrow.
you want to fail again?
Like
I
oh my
mean,
God, if they fail again, you know how he doesn't know how to count votes. So it's very and
Right.
like I said, they have to have everyone in their caucus there tomorrow. No one can be out. If imagine you get Steve Scalise all the way up here, and then someone is like, "I'm not coming to work tomorrow."
and I mean,
Literally.
I still think it's
someone
Literally.
flips their vote, right? If somebody flips their vote, those three
That's
decide
insane.
it's
Like
going to be
it's
4 or 5. Like, whew, that would be so embarrassing.
these
and
people.
I still think it's effing
These
crazy
people
that
are
Steve
not.
Scalise is undergoing cancer treatment, and the treatment is stem cell therapy.
Oh
That is
my,
the part that is killing me because I don't know if you're too young to remember, Isaiah, but Republicans were so against stem cell therapy like
Yeah.
way back in the
Okay.
day, way back in the day, and now that's the treatment he's undergoing. So hopefully they bring it up for a vote. Hopefully it fails because it's just going to be another notch in the Republican failure belt. I would definitely love to see it.
I would
I
love
hope
to.
so. I mean, that sucks. And worst case scenario, we bring Al Green out of the gulag, and Al Green comes and does what
Save
Al
the
Green
day.
does best.
Takes another Uber
In his socks,
out of the
literally his socks and his
hospital.
gown
Jesus
on. The
Christ.
poor thing. Oh my gosh.
So
Al
I
Green,
actually found out.
hero.
So I found out. I don't know if I'm so well. So he actually, we'll talk
Okay.
about this offline.
Okay. I heard the inner monologue come
Yeah,
out.
in his head. It went through his head like,
Yeah,
listen,
that's fine. That's
no,
fine.
but I mean, we know what the reports are. He literally was in the hospital. They called him. He said he wanted to come. He shouldn't have been let out the hospital. Let's put it like that. And he got an Uber and Hakeem helped him to do it. And yeah, he showed up and everybody was pissed. So yeah, great. Nice
And that's
job.
what we're going with. But I mean, I still think it's hilarious that Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, they used math against us. What the fuck?
They
Like, yeah,
made
it's a
him. They
numbers
just
game,
put
girl.
him
Like,
in the closet. He was in the hospital, girl. Get out of here.
like, how did you not plan for that contingency? And and this is a perfect time because obviously Hakeem Jeffries is a young guy, so he was counting all the votes. He knew what was going on. But I mean, Nancy Pelosi, to her credit, is what? How old was she before she retired? She was older
She was
than Joe
81.
Biden is,
Like
She
three,
was
yeah,
81
yeah,
because she's eight. She'll be 83, I think,
and she
yeah.
had that thing like wrapped around her finger when it came to counting the votes.
or 84. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why that age thing really doesn't matter to me. Like it doesn't matter like what people say. Just the number. That lady is sharp and she will cut you and you wouldn't even know you're bleeding.
Quickly, and then when you look up and everything's starting to go black, she's gonna be standing over you, just like watching.
That's my girl.
Anyway,
That is definitely my girl.
anyways, guys, it is.
All
I
right,
gotta go and
well, it's
find
good
some
to
food.
see you. Be good. Stay safe tomorrow out in that snow. Hope you have your snow boots and have fun
Snow
tomorrow.
boots.
Hopefully you'll be out.
You think I need boots?
Yeah. You got sneakers
Hey.
on. I already
Oh
know
my
you got
god.
sneakers on.
New fear
Anyway,
unlocked.
it's so funny.
All right.
Well, let us know. Hopefully you get to enjoy a victory party and have fun
Oh
in
yeah.
NY.
Thanks so
All right.
much, Isaiah. Thanks for joining the live. Thanks for
I
everything you're doing down there.
I
Exactly.
see
We love you.
Shantizi talking about I need some Tims. I do need some Tims while I'm up here. So, but anyway, thank you guys again. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Isaiah.
All right, bye.
Nope. And that's not Dallas barking. That's Jose's dogs barking.
Yeah, that's the old man barking. It's definitely not Dallas. It's the oldest of the three dogs. He's very cantankerous. Um, And yeah, now he's just barking because I don't know what he hears outside, but the young one isn't even barking. So it means there's
Yeah,
nothing out there. It's just, it's like, I don't know what his problem is.
I don't know either.
All
Yeah,
right.
well,
What is,
that's
what
everything.
else?
I think we were before Isaiah's joined, we were just talking about the Supreme Court and kind of what happened with that. But honestly, it is what it is. Where I just hope that they rule quickly. I know the guy asked yesterday for them to rush the ruling on the
Mm-hmm.
Colorado case, and I'm pretty sure they're going to come back hopefully quickly on the ruling for his stay, and that shouldn't even require anything after they read that disgusting ruling. That's horrible. Hopefully,
When is Super Tuesday for Republicans?
super same day as ours, March
Oh,
5th.
March 5th? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna. That's the. Yeah, they have a couple. Excuse me. They have a couple more primaries in between, but the next real big one is South Carolina, obviously.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be interesting. I mean, that always struck me as one of those wishful kind of things, like like when folks were saying with the stroke of a pen Joe Biden could forgive all the student loans. That's kind of
Mhm.
what this felt like. But I was always like, okay, if you guys can fight it and find a cohesive legal argument, then go for it. But yeah, that's I don't know. I just didn't place a lot of faith in it. I'm just like, everyone needs
I
to
don't.
show up
I
at
there's
election
no.
day.
Yeah, he's going to be on the ballot. I mean, they have to rule quickly. I mean, I think Colorado's is March. Is it March 5th? Is that their day that they do it? It's sometime soon.
I'm not sure.
I knew they were trying to get it because they have a certain day before they have to like take him off the ballot or put him back on the
Well,
ballot.
his name's already printed, right?
Okay, it's already printed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's already printed from my understanding. With Colorado, it's just a matter of whether he qualifies or doesn't.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
understood. But
Yeah. That's basically it. I just think that, I don't really have much else to talk about other than the fact that tired of people and their stupidity asking for or saying that Biden's going to be replaced on the ballot. Like, that's just driving me insane. Like, I'm so over it. They don't
hmm
even understand how the process works, how any of this primary stuff works. First of all, if you're not on the ballot as of like today in most states, you're not getting your name on a ballot. Our deadline last week for for Maryland was February 9th. I think California has already printed their ballots. Everybody's has their
Yep.
ballot. No one getting on ballot. This whole idea that he's going to be replaced after the convention is so absurd and disrespectful, not only to Biden, but to VP, thinking that Gavin Newsom is going to be some kind of replacement for him. That's Sonny said that, and I just think that's really, really bad to say, to put out there in the universe, to even, because there's people that are saying that, but when somebody that is credible like Sonny says it, it makes it seem valid, and it's not going to happen. And I just find that really kind of sad that people would skip over VP in hopes of getting Gavin Newsom, who's not even remotely qualified at this point to be president. He has a long way to go. I am appreciative, like I said, I always say I'm appreciative of being a surrogate. I love that he's out there. He can talk to the issues, but he can do that from his position as a governor, as well as my governor, Wes Moore. It is totally different
Yep.
when you're running and the spotlight is on you and they are going through your entire record and all your skeletons are coming
He's
out.
hot, by the way.
And
It's unrelated, but he's so.
I love Gavin Newsom. Like,
No, not Gavin Newsom. Wes Moore.
oh, Wes Moore is so hot. Yeah, no, that's
Oh
my
my
guy.
God.
I love that guy. He smells good too. But that's a whole different story. But I love my governor, and I think all the governors, all the governors are out there and they're trying to do everything that they can do to help Joe Biden, as they should be, right? I mean, they want money. We already saw what happens when Trump is in office and how he treats blue state governors, right? So why would you not be out there helping President Biden as much as possible? So I appreciate those people, but to try to literally Trump VP with Gavin Newsom is pretty fucking stupid. And sorry, I hate cursing on here, but it's really fucking stupid to even
Yep.
say at this point. And I just find it absolutely disrespectful to our VP, who is working hard every single day and is the next in line. And if God forbid something was to happen, as I explained in my video, to Joe Biden after the convention or even before the convention, the party would then have to decide who is going to be the best person, and to think that they would overlook VP is asinine. She is the person who is second in command right now,
Yep.
and she knows everything that's going on. Why in the hell her name will be on the ballot with his already? So you pick the person that's going to do that. You are not picking Gavin Newsom and then think that she's going to be the VP to Gavin Newsom when she's literally there every day for the last 3 years helping him. Like, that is
Absolutely.
so disrespectful.
Absolutely.
But that's all I had. That's my last closing statement.
No, I don't have any closing state. Well, I mean, the only thing I wanted to talk about was, the last time we did a live, did we talk about the Nevada caucus or in the primary?
It happened after that. The only thing that
Okay.
came out of that was crazy Crystal Lady dropping out.
Yeah, the Crystal Lady dropped out. And I mean, I just want to go over a few numbers because I had it ready for our live and then I was just like, I'm so tired. Well, so all right. So I want to do the which number is bigger again. So is 59,545 bigger than 112,611? Okay.
No.
In the Nevada Republican contest, that's how much Trump got. He got 59,545. In the Nevada Democratic contest, Joe Biden got 112,611. So for all the conversation that's going on about people aren't excited about Joe Biden, I had mentioned this about New Hampshire, but Nevada proves it once again. And just for the record, because we're treating both these guys as incumbents, in 2016, when Donald Trump was not an incumbent, he only got 100. I'm sorry, the total turnout in 2016 when Donald Trump was first running was 104,833. That was the total Republican turnout. Joe Biden, with all these candidates that you have to vote, that you could vote for in the Nevada contest, he got, just his share of the vote alone was 112,611. That's impressive when your share of the turnout is bigger than the entire Republican turnout in Nevada in 2016. I couldn't believe when I saw that. I was like, holy shit, the total turnout was 104,000, almost 105,000 in 2016, but Joe Biden's share of the Democratic vote was 112,000 for this primary, for this contest, and he's the incumbent. I thought that was impressive as hell.
But
no one mentioned it.
Hold on, I mentioned it. Let's be clear.
I mean, in the mainstream media.
No, the mainstream media is never going to mention that. They didn't even talk about the results. To be honest, they spend all their days talking about Biden is old. But I did call that out on Friday, and I saw you called it out too. You did the numbers thing, and I literally just called out the numbers. But then there were people saying, "Oh my God, it's a caucus. It's not the same thing." I'm like, I don't give a damn. Trump is supposed to be the cult daddy. If he's the cult daddy, then he should be bringing people out to be able to vote, and he only brought out 60,000. And not to mention, he said it was the all-time highest amount of people that turned out for a caucus, which was a blatant lie. Yep. Once again, Trump is lying. The last time in 2016, it was 75,000. So we are back to where we are, as we began this phase, with the media not doing their job, not telling the true story of what's going on, and it's exhausting. And Nevada was with Nevada, and Joe won easily, and the Crystal Lady dropped out, which was admirable of her. Now Dean needs to drop out too because he's a fool, and we know he's an opt. We can see what he's doing, and it's time for him to go. So after South Carolina, not South Carolina, after Super Tuesday or Michigan, he gotta go. He gotta go and keep it moving.
Because he's been kicking the can down to Michigan for a while now.
Yeah, nobody cares about him in Michigan. I don't know where he thinks he's gonna magically get votes from in Michigan. No one likes you, guy. If he gets 5,000 votes in Michigan, I will be shocked. I am exhausted with that guy. He is so annoying. He has nothing to offer people other than complaints, no solutions. And what is even the point? I don't even know. Well, someone asked a question about Maryland. Russ asked a question about Maryland. So what happened in Maryland with our Dem party? So Yvette Lewis was our chair of the party, but Yvette Lewis left. She wasn't replaced. She ended up leaving because she went to go work with the larger Dem party with Jamie Harrison, and she went to do that. So we end up getting someone else who's chairing the party. Now Larry Hogan is running for the Senate seat here, which would be to replace our senator now, Ben Cardin, And so so of course he jumps in last minute. No one, he said, first of all, he said he wasn't going to jump in. Now he's saying he is going to, now he did sign his paperwork. Like I said, the filing deadline was last Friday. He jumps in Friday and says, hey guys, I'm running. Okay, cool. No one likes you here. No one likes you here. So best of luck to you. We have two candidates that are running. We have Angela Alsobrook on the Dem side, Angela Alsobrooks, and we have David Trone, who is currently a congressman. Now, David Trone is super duper rich. He owns Total Wine, and he has ads running nonstop on our TV, like every 5 minutes, on the radio, everywhere. So he and Angela, unfortunately, Angela does not have a lot of money, and she had to change campaign managers, and there was a lot of things that have gone wrong in her campaign that she is now having to make up for lost time. So this is on Angela, yes, and David Tron is endorsed by Hakeem Jeffries. So there's a lot going on in terms of the Dem. I'm not really too worried about Larry Hogan, more so what's going to happen in the primary, because it's about to get pretty competitive. And Angela, I saw she came out with her first ad today. She has the endorsements of pretty much everyone in our party in Maryland. She has Steny, she has Westmore, our comptroller, Brooke. Everyone who's anybody has pretty much endorsed her here. But it's really hard to fight with money when you don't have any. You can't compete with $15 million when somebody's spending that outside of their pocket. So it is a tough uphill battle, but I'm hoping that people will start to pay attention. I saw Raphael Warnock. I saw a bunch of the senators, trying to boost her on Friday, and hopefully they'll give her a little bit of money, and hopefully get her to get an ad on TV just to counter his, because people don't really know David Tron. They just know his ads. And once they get to know who he is, they may not necessarily like him. And so there's a lot happening. We have our primary is March. I'm sorry, I'm losing my month. See, look, I'm doing a Joe Biden. Chris Van Hollen is supporting Angela Alsobrooks. He's been out on the campaign trail with her all the time. She has a lot of support, but she needs to get on TV, because those TV ads are absurdly consistent. Let's just put it like that. There are, like, I'm telling you, watch a show, you're gonna see, every time there's a commercial, you're gonna see one. He has spent so much money on ads. It's annoying. But yeah.
And this is just it's not the biggest breaking news, but this just kind of came across that Donald Trump has endorsed the North Carolina Republican Party chairman, Michael Whatley, to succeed Ronna McDaniel.
No.
And he's endorsing his daughter-in-law to be co-chair. Mm-hmm. That's funny. I didn't realize that they were actually, I know there were talks about getting rid of Ronna, but I didn't know that it was like done.
Lovely.
Well, that party's in shambles. I mean, why do they keep taking his lead? I don't understand, but
let them destroy.
Exactly. I don't want to give any tips on how to make it better because
that's not what we're here for. We're not here to try to help them. So let them just do what they need to do. Poor Rona. She's now unemployed and bitter and whatever. But did you see that story yesterday about Kevin McCarthy, and how Kevin McCarthy is like putting like all these primary challenges against people that like basically screwed him over?
Yep.
And Nancy Mace is his target. He endorsed her. He's like giving money and endorsing her, I guess her former like chief of staff who's running against her, or somebody that worked in her office. It's wild. They're wild.
They are, man. They're just so horrible. Like horrible candidates, horrible platform, horrible at doing anything. Just even to advance their own agenda, as horrible as it is, they're just completely ineffective. So I don't know why people are even voting for them. Like, you can agree with their platform, you can, whatever, but they're not even doing the things they say they're going to do. That's what I don't get. But, Ronna McDaniel went ahead and she pulled a Nikki Haley and changed her name, because she was like, I can't have Romney as my last name anymore, because it's not clout. It's not the clout that it used to be. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to McDaniel, because I guess it sounds more like McDonald's. Who knows?
Yeah.
And that'll appeal to Trump more.
Doesn't really matter. She's so stupid. She another one who lost all her integrity for the golden calf. The, that man needs to be strucken. I'm sick of him. I'm so done with Donald Trump. I hate talking about him and all of these people. Like all weekend, I spent my time doing debunking videos
Hmm.
of Donald Trump because I can't stand. Like that I can't stand talking about him. And people were getting on my last nerve saying, "Oh my God, Trump did this and Trump did that" in my comments. And he did all of this for black people. And I'm just like, what? He did what for who? And then I had to go pull the receipts. And I don't like talking about him, but sometimes it's actually necessary. Like this guy is a whole racist, and they're like, Joe Biden is a racist. He was friends with the segregationists. I'm like, they were his colleagues, right? They literally were in Congress with him. Yes, it probably wasn't the best thing, but they literally were in the Senate together. So it's kind of hard to not like what you say. Don't talk to me. Yes, maybe there's some things he shouldn't have said. Record players and weird shit that he was saying back in the days, and the whole busting thing that VP called him out on. But he still is a person that we know has our back, right? At the end
Right.
of the day, is he perfect? Absolutely not. The Anita Hill stuff still gets on my nerves, but he has atoned, in my opinion, for all of those things that he has done, and he has a cabinet that looks like America. He has put 56 black judges on the court. He has passed legislation, bills that will help black people. The unemployment numbers are great. Like he's doing everything he can. I don't expect perfection out of my president. I know he's probably going to say something stupid at some point. Yes, if you're black and you vote for Trump, yeah, you're probably not black. I will agree with him on that one.
Oh my
You're something else. And so I'm tired of it. Like I'm tired of people just lying, and I push back on misinformation, but that is the misinformation that I cannot stand, is people trying to make Trump into something that he's not, and trying to make Biden into some kind of like demon or like and a racist. Like I have seen Biden with black people my entire life, whether it's fighting against apartheid, or just being around black people. He is very comfortable. I mean, he literally almost beat up Corn Pop. I mean, come
I was
on.
gonna just say
he,
corn pop.
he had to stop Corn Pop. I mean,
He did.
these are things that matter to me, and I appreciate Joe Biden because like I said, I don't expect perfection. But there is not many white men that would have humbled themselves to be second in command to the first black president, and we know that he did. And as he said when he was interviewed in 2020, he said the person that picked me to be the VP actually vetted me, and they know who I am. And I trust Barack Obama, and the fact that he picked Joe Biden. He wouldn't have picked somebody to be around his kids, to be around his family who was racist. Has he said stupid shit? Absolutely. I don't condone those things, but I have forgiven him for them, and I know that he is doing a great job as president. So I'm going to end on that, because F the haters and go Joe Biden, aka Dark Brandon.
Absolutely. Go Biden Harris 2024. That's all I got to say. So until next time, our regularly scheduled live will resume this Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have more to talk about. We'll see what happens tomorrow with Santos's seat. Hopefully, it's gonna set the tone for what happens in the general election. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Go Swazi.
Yep, exactly. Well, thanks so much, guys, for being in the live. I appreciate you. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sharing it. Thanks for, I saw someone subscribed. Thanks for following. If you're not following Tiff, make sure you follow Tiff. If you're not following me, please follow me. And for the MAGA folks in here, please follow me too, so you can troll me when I do my lives solo.
My God, the truth. All right.
All right, everyone. Have a good night. Bye, Tiff.
Bye.